My name is Tarek Alsayed. I'm from the city of Aleppo in Syria. I moved to Belgium. I came as a refugee in the year 2013 during the Syrian war. I'm a professional musician. I was teaching music in my city and playing music in many groups inside Syria in my city and outside Syria. I played in Tunisia, Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan. Since I moved to Belgium, I moved indeed as a musician to Europe. I got a visa to do a concert here. Then I decided to stay because I couldn't back anymore because of the situation there. So since the year 2013, I got papers and then I started immediately to do music activities and concerts. Here as well, I'm teaching music in the music academy in Sydney class, the same instrument, oud. And I participated in many projects in Belgium and outside Belgium, in France, Germany, Poland, the Netherlands, Malta, Italy, many countries, Cyprus as well. And I did also a project for refugees in Lebanon when I was here. It's the year 2016. Like I went there like 3 times and we prepared like a project called Action for Hope for the Syrian refugees in Lebanon, as well for Palestinian refugees there. And the school is still there until now. I'm not with them anymore. I was just preparing the school, and now they are in Jordan, in Iraq as well. So here in Belgium, I participated in the project. There was a project Refugees for Refugees. We recorded 2 CDs. Now we changed the name. It's Refa Group, and we are planning to record our 3rd CD. I also participated in other projects, like in Germany, we did a tour, 25 concerts in the North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany. In France, I participated in a project called Oration. It was with various musics like contemporary music and flamenco music and Syrian music as well. In Belgium as well, I participated in Exodus, was a project, also Syrian, Iraqi, Belgian, Spanish, flamenco music, and Greek as well. And it was talking about leaving the country for conflict reasons. And I'm still doing music until now. I still participated in many projects. Well, in 2010, that was just before the war, when I was teaching there in the Conservatoire of Aleppo, we did a workshop with the French Conservatoire in the city of Calais. They came like 5-6 teachers and like 30 students. It was nice experience for me. So the plan was to come to Europe to continue this project. And then the war started, 2011. it didn't start in Aleppo the same period, it started in other cities, but the war started in the summer of 2012 in Aleppo. So there was no more chances to do music at all, you know. The sound of guns is much higher than music. There was no more activities in the city. So I stayed with my father because my mother and sisters, they left to my brothers. They were already living outside of Syria. So I stayed like 1 year with my father. And we were planning to leave the country, but you know, in 2012, I was not serious about leaving the country. My hope was, okay, eventually this war will end and we will win. We will have our democracy and our country, but no, it was not like this. It became to have many bastards in the war because the two sides, you know, for me, yes, I'm with freedom. I'm with having better chance for my country to participate in civilization. We have many things to do. We have really creative people. I think it was good, but you know, in the war, it was like a certain moment. I really decided to leave the country when they bombed the old mosque of the city of Aleppo. It was the oldest minaret in Aleppo, like 1,000 years. There was many places were destroyed, but this moment, because no one admitted he did it. Like every side they said, no, they did it. We didn't do it. So I said, okay, this country, I cannot stay anymore. Because no one is taking responsibility. No one is brave enough to say, I did this for these reasons. And I got the chance to have visa to leave. So I left. I wanted my father to be with me, but indeed he refused. He said, okay, I'm old enough and I cannot start a new life in a new country, but for you, you can just leave and I'm okay. Then I left. I didn't leave you know, passing the sea, or no, I got normal visa, so it was just like before when I left Syria to do concerts. It was the same. I got visa and I left to do the concert. Well, a lot of my family members, they left the country. Some to Turkey, some to Saudi Arabia, Emirates, and some of them to other cities. They went out of the city of Aleppo. But some of them, they stayed there. I think they couldn't leave. Many of my friends, they had this experience to pass the sea and the difficulties, and like everyone has a complete story. You can write a film about it. Really, people have many reasons, you know, to be with or against any side of the war. You know, some people for political reasons, or they are just afraid about their families, about their shops, their work, their houses. So I remember when it started in Aleppo, like every town, the Free Army entered it. It was simple, so simple, like the regime will bomb it. There will be helicopter and they will bomb it. So for some towns, I remember that, like in my town where my apartment was, there was a lot of troops of the regime, and in one day they just vanished. No one was there, and we saw in the morning the Free Army was there. Wow, it was strange, you know. And just in the afternoon they start bombing the town. No one understand it, you know. And then in my father's town, my parents' town, the Free Army also came And the people, I remember the people in the street, they just went to them and said, please leave, because you cannot protect us, you cannot protect yourselves. If you can, okay, welcome, but you cannot. And they left. So in the same evening, there was bombing in my town. It was late information, I think. They had information, okay, Free Army is here, bomb it. But there was no information, but they withdrew. Some towns, they paid money. The rich towns in Aleppo, yes, indeed. They paid money for the both sides. Please keep conflict outside of our town, and we pay you. Because they are rich, yes. So it was like the really who paid for the revolution and the conflict was the poor towns. The most of people who left were the poor people. They don't have money, and they suffered already from the situation was before. So the revolution started from there. In many towns in Syria, the revolution started in the poor towns. I don't know about other countries, but I guess it's the same, you know. They did the revolution and they paid for it. The rich towns in Aleppo are safe. Until now, there was no bombing. There was many of rich towns are still safe and nothing happened. You know, in the period of the father of this president, Bashar al-Assad, Hafez al-Assad, he was a real dictator. He really controlled the country very strongly. There was a small revolution, I can say, in 1982, and it started in many cities, in not much. It was made by the Muslim Brotherhood in the party of Muslim Brotherhood in Syria, and it started in the city of Aleppo. I was so young, I was little child, I don't remember about it, but everyone knows because he made example of the city of Hama for all Syrians. Anyone dare to protest against me, I will destroy his city. In the city of Hama, until today, it's after 40 years, it's still like small town, you know. He decided to punish the city forever. As he is the president, this city will not rise up again. Like in 1 week, they killed like 40,000 people. And there was many stories about what happened there. His brother, Rafat al-Assad, who was in France and now he back to Syria. I don't know how they left him. They let him just simply back after he steal all this money from Syria, and now he has problem in France, and he's just simply back there. So after the 1982, there was no more protest in Syria. You know, we know you will be in prison forever if you say any word about Hafez al-Assad. Any word. We were really, literally, we were afraid to say even to ourselves. I cannot say anything to myself, you know. So I think the Syrian revolution, when these people really decided to go to street, it was a super brave thing. Really, it's because it's impossible. When we saw it at first, a lot of people were like, wow, really, we are on the streets and against him, wow. This is super brave thing, you know. In other countries, Arabian countries, it was, I guess, they are all the same, but, you know, there is differences in how the reaction of the regime. The reaction of the Syrian regime was from the first moment, kill the people. Anyone protested, they killed him. We saw it and we knew it, you know, or put him in prison for the rest of his life. So yes, it was really a brave thing to do it, but unfortunately, you know, the Syrian regime has a lot of weapons. Syrian regime has tanks more than France army. Can you imagine it? And they used it against us. These planes bombed Aleppo because we have to do military service. So my military, it's obligated. You don't have option. I did my military service in military airport, and I saw these planes. It was nice to see plane and flying, but I never imagined to see this plane bombing my city. You know, it was really, and this I saw with my own eyes. No one told me, and this all talking about, no, this is lies, this is bullshit. They bombed the city, really, and I saw it. Any town out of their control, and when they couldn't reback the city of Aleppo, Russia came and helped them. There was like in 2015-16, like 2 months of continuous bombing the city of Aleppo. Like Russia came and said, okay, you cannot do it, let me do it. Just stand aside. There was like 8 or 9 planes day and night bombing the town. There was a complete towns in Aleppo were completely destroyed. Completely. When I left the city of Aleppo, because I never out of my town, we were like surrounded. They started like it was one city, and then the Free Army, they got part of the city and they wanted to have the whole city, they couldn't. Or they didn't want, I don't know. So just they divided the city, and there was like passing points. They make it less and less and less until there was only one pass point in this between the two parts of the city. It was like the city of Berlin, literally. And this pass point was just behind my parents' apartment. The street, they called it the Death Street. Now is part of much bigger game. It started like about Syrian people and Syrian regime, but quickly it became really something else. Like many countries interrupted in this: Russia, America, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Iran, I don't know, China. So it's like area of conflict. So the solution now is not in our hands, not even in the hands of this president. Bashar al-Assad now is nothing. You can see when Putin he came to visit Syria, he did with him like someone is employer with him, you know, he just put him behind the guards of Putin, they put him, and he deserved it, you know, because he is nothing, he is controlling only the city of Damascus, he is not controlling any place, and the economy he is doing nothing. He has no solution. He had no solution from the first time, you know. Since he got the control in Syria, he was president because his father wanted him to be the president, and the economy was going down and down. So before the war and before the revolution, we were already going down, and he has no solution. So what about now? Nothing. Well, in 10, 20 years, I hope less, if the situation changed in Syria, and if Bashar al-Assad is not the president anymore, yes, I will back. And teach music there, and yes, I can come again to Europe and do concerts here. But now, in the situation now, no. Now I'm Belgian, you know, I'm Syrian Belgian, you can say. I love the country here. I have many friends. I worked with many organizations here. I did a lot of concerts. I still have also always options and offer to do music. I'm used to live here, so this is my new country. You know, life is short. But yes, if there will be a chance to rebuild the country, yes, I would love to. Still, Syria is my origin. I lived there like 35 years of my life. Well, I left Syria 10 years ago. So as I know now, it is another country. You know, the new generation, I know so few about their mentality, you know, how they grow up in situation of war. So I don't have a real advice because I'm not living there. I don't know really what is in their mind. But I hope the first thing that they just can put conflict aside and thinking of revenge, because now a lot of young people who were children, his father was killed or his mother, and now the society in Syria, they are more and more divided. You know, they are thinking about revenge. You know, about I will get revenge from my father. This will solve nothing. If we keep thinking about this, this will solve nothing. But for young people around the world, when I came to Belgium, I came from a war. So I already hated everything about military. You know, the colors of suit. Because in Syria it was, even before the war, the military was everywhere, you know. Myself, when I was child, you know, in the secondary school, we have to have a uniform, like a military uniform, and I hated it, really. In the 2001, they changed it to be like blue, and okay, just please don't have like an army people, you know, like the whole nation is army. This will lead to war, you know. A carpenter make you a table, and a general makes you a war. This is so simple. When you put general in the control, he will make war. This is so simple. When I came here, for young people, I know about it. They are enthusiastic and they love this thing about having military clothes and having this powerful thing. This is all not right. This is not right. War is an ugly thing, really ugly. It's you know, when they talk about like in Van Damme films and Rambo, like explosion and he just fled from it. This is not right. One stone can kill you. If there is explosion, you don't. I was in 2013, and it was the first huge explosion I have experienced. They bombed like 3 buildings. It was the first activity of Islamic rebels. There was a hospital, and then there was a Syrian generals and also Russian generals. It was like a center of controlling, but there was also like 3 buildings before it of normal citizens. So they just bombed it. It was terrible. It was 500 meters from my place. I felt like earthquake, you know. The sofa I was sitting, it moved from itself, and then just 5 seconds after, or 3 seconds, it was raining, literally stones, glasses. You don't know what was happening. Like if you was just walking the street, you could be killed with anything. So war is ugly, you know. It's not something to be proud of or to be enthusiastic. And for me personally, after being in 2 years in a war, I never participated in it. I refused to kill anyone for any reason. I'm a musician and I don't want to kill anyone. I think the feeling of guilty of doing it will stay with you in the whole of your life, you know. We heard a lot about soldiers who came back from wars, American soldiers who have been in Iraq or Vietnam. They have these psychological problems. It is true. So if you are part of it, you will never stay normal anymore. And really, it's not like those heroes, you know, of wars, like, you know, he's strong man. No, no. I think wars between nations makes a criminal to be a hero. This is my opinion, you know. Maybe people will disagree with me, but it just gives a permission to a criminal to be in honor. But for me, he is killing someone else. For what? For freedom? For his nation? You can live without killing others, you know. For power, for God, for what? Nothing worth it. No.